Okay, so okay, so our last point of this topic, landscape gardening and the landscaping. So here the aesthetic value of the garden. So you are observing here the beautiful different outlets are there. Already we have seen the different types of gardens are there. Aesthetic means generally the behavior which is to be having a pleasurable and the comfortable. So it is called as the aesthetic value. So nowadays we are knowing there is having the different types of the recreational capacities or importance in the diversity. It is to be increased, and in the world we are observing there are the different types of the people's views are the different. So very interestingly, as you may write the many more things here. So what is the aesthetic? So it has a different and the complementary meanings depending on the field in which it is to be defined, right? So basically we are knowing, as suppose there is having the branch of philosophy is there. So this philosophy, that is the it is related with that of the question of the beauty in the art, and their artworks are there. So in garden we are knowing statues are there, different topiaries are there prepared from this plants are there. Topiary, that is the plants cut in the different shape and the size. Then as per the psychologist, as there is having the positive effect is there. Nowadays we are knowing in the corona situation the emotions are the very important, and therefore as we have experienced about more than 1.5 year about practically as how the our constant nature and this suppose whatever surrounding area is there, so we are totally depend on this. So it gives to us the positive response or the positivity is increased. Secondly, as there is having the effective positive ness or the which creating the pleasure, and it is to be considered as the main characteristics of this value. Because as there are the different theories of beauty are there, then others are there. So in relation to beauty, the harmony, symmetry, order, and the measure, how we are showing the harmony, that is the our harmoniums, sare gama, right? So is there good pleasure or the good to listen, so it is called as harmony. Symmetry, that is the it should be looked very nicely, so therefore it is called as symmetry. So like this one, so you remember these some points are there. Secondly, as there are the different workers, scientists are there, so as per their study they have given the different types of the characteristic. Then in the different designs of the garden and the landscape, as we are knowing, aesthetic views are there. So as per the some Scottish scientists are there, so they have given the names as the site. So sight means the as there is having the light or the brightness is there. So you are observing here the some pots are there. So one specific pot, it increases the beauty of this particular area. So there are different types of plants are there, as area is there, or enable is different, beckia is there. The roadside you observe this plant, ficus lyrata is there, it is called as the fiddle leaf. Then red valentine, Chinese aluminium plant is there, right? Calathea, pencil cactus is there, croton petra is there, silver naru plant is there. So all these plants, they increases the pleasure. One more thing is there, here you are observing, this is our interesting one plant. It is also seen our region also, depend Bekia, right? So they are showing the green leaves and they are dissected. Then we have to question then what is an aesthetic landscape. Aesthetic landscape already just we have seen which giving the pleasing to the eye and the evoke the feeling of the joy. So we get the certain joy after observation of this design or this scenery is there, right? Then there are the different types of the ways are there. For example, outdoor parties there, indoor parties there, then certain building parts are there. So just you see this these are the I think bamboo plants are there. We are also observing in the our market also nowadays. So but you see the nature of the plant, how it is to be grown, and therefore it is a very specific character, right? So there is having the pergola type, it is called as a pergola, or this it gives increases the beauty of this part is there, right? Then next in this aesthetic values, the natural and wild habitats they are to be considered. So natural habitats we may consider in the wildlife of the certain parks are there, zoological are there, botanical gardens are there, snakes are there, crocodiles are there, or we are going to observe these different plants and the animals are there. So millions of peoples generally some we are observing some are using for it for hunting or fishing, like steps are there at the natural ecotourism, right? So these are some character. Nowadays biotechnology parties are so one where the horticultural species are developed. So just you remember the some highlighting points are there. In biodiversity we are observing, you are observing here the value of the biodiversity. So herb species, tree species, then shrub species are there. On right hand this photograph is there, so it gives the different plants as a logo. So tree and there is a food chain is there. So this food chain in the field ecosystem already we are knowing. Then here is the great aesthetic value as it is a natural landscape, and it gives the remembrance of the all plants and the animals are there. Generally different structures they are made by the peoples or the person. You see how the this building or the homes are prepared, how is there is a path is there crossing of the certain terrace region area or the forest area is there. So as it gives the idea of the different beauty of this park is there. You observe this. So how the location is done, suppose at the bank of the river is there, or certainly a pond is there, like this. Then due to the blend or the nature gardens poses are there, so we have to go for this one in relation to the different styles are there, or there are the different historical parts are there. Suppose we are knowing in our region number of forts are there, right? So these forts, suppose Rajgad is there, Raigad is there, Purandar is there. So they are having the specifically importance in the each and every. So since the development of gardens are important, we are knowing there are the different problems in determining the garden identity and its aesthetic value, because social gardens they should be controlled by the government, and therefore or by the municipal corporations are there, and then there is the proper maintenance is there. As there are the appreciation of the gardens, they are not only to just involve in this one, but all should understand the for this condition, right? Then there are the certain representation of the gardens are there. So these gardens they are also added with that of the in the paintings. So our old emperors are there, so they having the certain habits, or after the uh, old, after the 600 to 700 years, there are the Mughal emperors are there, then Hindu emperors are there, so they having the different condition. Then nowadays there is a neuro aesthetic and the evolutionary psychology. Neuro, that is the, as we have, it is as a heritage. Heritage means the त्याला वारसा म्हणतो आपण. As it is transmitted to us, and therefore we have to maintain it in the natural condition. According to two scientists, Ramachandran and Hirschfeld, so they propose that the rule of artistic this rule of the so these gardens we are doing here, the different opinions are there. Rules of the artistic experience as a list of the aesthetic property. Artistic, that is the whatever we having, so we should preserve it, right? Different sculptures are there. Then peak shift principle, what is it? So generally, as there is having the grouping and the binding of the certain pleasant sensation. So as there are the number of branches are there, we are knowing in market, in the urban area, city area are there, so there is having the value of certain artistic articles are there. Then as in the aesthetic value, so all we keep in the garden. The survival of, that is the role of human survival, it is very important as per this particular area. Then we may arrange the certain aesthetic expressions by means of the arranging the different programs are there, so therefore the environmental quality is also maintained. In landscape aesthetic, the enjoyment is the main part, and secondly, as it is divided into the two approaches. One is the transmitter approach, which is having the intrinsic value. Intrinsic, that is our inner value, as per our custom. And secondly, which stimulate the different responses from the people. And second one is the receiver approach. Receiver, that is the human perception is important. So people should be like this one, right? So people should be like this one, and it shows the good psychological effect. So we should understand this part. Then in relation to the different nowadays challenges are there, so which includes the ecological balance, or the measurement of the biodiversity there. Nowadays we are knowing the different concept our government is giving, so green value or the green cover, oxygen level in your area, so all this it is to be seen. One interesting part nowadays in the aesthetic ecological value of the biodiversity. So we having the good diversity, richness, then taxonomic number of species, abundance, then there is having the phylogenetic diversity, PD, then there is having the functional diversity, FD, it is called laser. So functional, that is there should be the some output should be there. So TD, FD and PD, these are the important direct measurements are there. So these all gives the total biomass. Biomass is what? The living and the dry weight of any organism, it is called as the biomass. So suppose after production, how much is to give the production? Suppose mango tree is there, so mango tree is itself, but how many fruits it generally shows the produce, so it depends on this biomass. Then same thing for the soil nutrient recycling, carbon and nitrogen nature, then grasslands in the particular area, because flora generally, whatever herbaceous plants are there, they are very important to the other plant. Then in the landscape aesthetic value, healthy ecosystem, it is very important because the physical measure, it is totally same due to this. You see, there are some good gardens are there or city area, so there is a crowding is there in the evening time. Then in relation to the example of relationship of the certain this uh, humans and the gardens are there. So according to Tinderman, so they have given that the grasslands and number of species in the area, it shows the character. Same thing. Suppose the aquatic ecosystem is there, so there is a coral reef is there. Coral reef, that is the we have to consider for this one. So like this, all we are going to study here. So here our topic is finishing. In the next lecture we start the next credit. Okay, so thanks to all.